Hi. Last week we started a tradition of interpreting the portion of the week, Parashat Shavua, which is a part of the Torah that we read in a cycle every year. We read it in synagogue on Saturday, and parts of the next parsha on Monday and Thursday. So we are in the book of Numbers. In Hebrew, it's like it has a different name in the desert, because this book describes the journey of the Israelites in the desert till they enter the Holy Land in the other part of the Bible, which is the prophets. And this we are in the fourth portion in the book of Numbers, and we have one of the major stories of the sins of the Israelites, because actually the whole Bible is a description of the sins of, it begins from Adam and Eve, and then we go on, we have like other sins of humanity, and then we begin with Abraham, the first patriarch, and his sins that are not described as sins, but if you read it today with our knowledge of psychology and sociology, whatever, you understand that since then we started deteriorating. And so in this, we can read a bit. As I said last week, we have an amazing website which has like a lot of Jewish texts. They keep on updating and uploading. It's in English and Hebrew. It's very recommended. Sifriya, it's called. Sefaria. And okay, so this is this week portion, Shlach. Okay, so what happens here is that God orders Moses to send the chiefs of the tribes. We have like 12 tribes, to send their I just read the word and I didn't know this word in English, chieftain, okay? The leaders of the tribes, they are called spies, but it's not like really spying. It's like to tour the land of Canaan and to send like a report. It's very, and when Moses sent them to scout the land of Canaan, he said to them, go up there into the Negev. The Negev is the southern part, and on into the hill country, and see what kind of country it is. Are the people who dwell in it strong or weak, few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns they live in open or fortified? Is the soil rich or poor? Is it wooded or not? And take pains to bring back some of the fruit of the land. Now it happened to be the season of the first ripe grapes. Okay, and then they do this, and they come back after 40 days and they give their reports. Okay, and this is the report. This is what they told him. We came to the land you sent us to. It does indeed flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, the people who inhabit the country are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the Anakites there. Anakites is like big people. Amalekites is like a nation, because there were like a few nations living in the land of Canaan. With the Amalekites, they already had a war in the desert. So it's like it's scary. They know them. It's like this terrifying. Amalekites dwell in the Negev region, Hittites, Jebusites, I don't know in English, I never read it in English, and Amorites inhabit the hill country, and Canaanites dwell by the sea and along the Jordan. Okay, and then one leader is like goes against them. Caleb hushed the people before Moses and said, let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it. But the men who had gone up with him said, We cannot attack that people, for it is stronger than we. Thus they spread calumny. I don't know how to pronounce this word, sorry, among the Israelites about the land they had scouted, saying, the country that we traversed and scouted is one that devours its settlers. All the people that we saw in it are men of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, it's like the giants. The Anakites are giants, are part of the Nephilim, and we look like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them. In English, it says, it's a bit different than in Hebrew. It says we must have looked to them. In Hebrew, it's like they just say, we look that way to them. It's not like it's like they do it's interesting that the translation is a bit different and it's like more accurate to the truth. So only Caleb and Moses' servant that conquers the land, that becomes the leader that conquers the land later, only the two of them against 10 are saying, yeah, we can conquer the land, but all the 10, they say that no, we will be defeated. And the thing is, like, God promised this land, Canaan, to Abraham, and he said that it's like the promised land. And we are at a stage where God made so many miracles. God is with them. It's like the most privileged time in human history, according to the literature. It's like God is escorting them. God is performing miracles. God opened the sea and gives them food from the sky. And I mean, they already supposed to know that God, it's fucking God. He can do whatever he wants. And if he says that you are going to conquer this land, you're going to conquer this land. So what we see here is that they are like non-believers, that although they are really like it's like there is no reason for them not to believe. And this is like, and also they have like low self-esteem. You know, they see the giants, and even though they should know already that God is performing miracles for them, they see themselves as grasshoppers, yeah, and they don't believe in themselves because of their physicality, okay? And this trait is like, this is what's so amazing, I think, about the Torah. It's how prophetic it is, and like thousands of years after this story, the Jewish people have exactly the same traits. Exactly the same trait. It's like Jews today perceive themselves as weak. We have this the victim symptom. We are always the victims, okay? We use the memory of the Holocaust to reject any kind of criticism because we were in the Holocaust, we were persecuted. We are the most persecuted people. And this is like the collective memory, and Jews really believe in it. It's like, this is really the self-esteem. And also like in Europe, the Jews, this is like the deep psychological reason for Zionism. They felt that they were like, let's say, physically challenged compared to the Gentiles, let's say the Germans. Max Noder, one of the founders of Zionism, he wrote a book about eugenics, and he wrote about the degenerated men. And there was like this myth that Jewish men have like have a period, that they are like feminine. And so they had this inferiority complex compared to the Gentiles. And the whole idea of nationalism and conquering the land, it's all like connected to this. But at the same time, now I'm going to say something which is supposedly anti-Semite, but actually it's anti-Semite. Jews had, before the Holocaust, and this was this is the reason till now for so-called anti-Semitism, is that Jews had an incredible power in everything to do with economy and culture. I just read like an article about Mark's article about the question of the Jews, and then in like I don't know how to say it, in comments, it's not the right person, never mind. I read it like this, in the at the end of the 19th century or beginning of the 20th century, about in commerce, about 50% of the people were Jews. Okay, I read once that in Vienna, also like at the time, like the intellectual and artistic elite, it was like inhabited by like 40%, 40% Jews. Like the number, the percent of Jews in society, I think it was like, like really, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maximum percent. So the Jews had an incredible power uh, in everything that shaped society, and not in their physicality. And but they had this low self-esteem, and they didn't perceive themselves at that way. And now we see the same phenomena in the U.S. And you can say that the U.S. is like the new Germany, because it is the same. It's like it's the same Protestant ideal, and it's like it's the same like connection between class and education. It's like the contemporary Germany, and continuation of the Roman Empire. And the Jews have an incredible power in finance and in culture. About 80% of the people that established Hollywood were Jews. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is like an embodiment of this sickness that is Hollywood, yeah, the rape culture that Hollywood is based on. In everything to do with like art, and I saw just a documentary like 2 months ago in Netflix, something about art. It was like 80-90% of the people in this were Jews, in journalism and in finance, like they have an incredible power. The Jews as a collective are middle upper class. It's like they are the strongest, they are like the whitest of the whitest, the strongest group in the US. But still they have this self-esteem of being persecuted, being a minority. They don't perceive themselves as the most privileged group in the US. And for me, it's very dangerous. So this is why I think that it is about time. It is about time. The Jews will get this fucking mirror, okay? Because they reject any kind of criticism, in this name of being a victim. And people feel this frustration, and they have this criticism, but they cannot express it. And this is why I believe that this is part of my mission as a Jew, because only a Jew can. If I wasn't a Jew, I couldn't have said it. It was like unacceptable. But now it's about time that we shall see this mirror. And okay, so now I want to move to another, like, to bring another angle. We have, when we read the Torah on Saturday, we read part of the Nevi. The Bible is the Jewish Bible. It's divided into 3 parts: the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, and prophets, which is like the historiography of what happened since this Yeshua conquered the land till the Jews were expelled from the first temple, and the beginning of the coming back. They were exiled by the Babylonians, and like about that time it ends. And then we have the writings. It's like philosophical poetry, the more thing. Yeah, it's a collection of like this kind of poetry, literature. So after the reading of the Torah, we read like a chapter from the prophets, which is thematically linked. Okay, we don't really know why it was created. There are a few theories, but that's it. This week, we read a very juicy story one of the most amazing story from the time. It's like the second chapter in the first book of the prophets where they conquer the land. And here we see that Yeshua, the guy from the, from the before, one of the two leaders that were like, because the God, by the way, I didn't say that, God punished them by for the disbelief. God punished the Jews by they were supposed to. It was like it happened in the second year when there is after the Exodus, and because of that, they kept on wandering in the desert for 40 years. They were like parallel to the 40 days that they were in Canaan, and till the old generation that is after 20 will die in the desert. For me, it's not really a punishment. It's more like this consciousness of slavery, of being a victim. It was like an evidence to the fact, and it's something very deep in the psychology of being a servant, of being like that you do not believe that you can be a master. And it's something very deep in you. This is why Marx was totally wrong. Totally wrong. If he would be a good Jew, he wouldn't be Marx. And he was a Protestant. He didn't know anything about Judaism. And he just enjoyed all the Jewish advantages, education, the family, whatever. But he didn't know anything. If you would read this book, he would maybe he would understand that the servants don't rebel. They accept their fate. They cannot. So this was, it's not really a punishment, it was like part of the process. Okay. So Yeshua, so the two spies that didn't, that said that we can conquer the land, they survived. The other kind of, God is very, God is not a puchi in like our books. It's like in reality, yeah. It's reality. God is not there. God knows how to punish. He kills like this. Okay, never mind. So Yeshua, one of the two, Moses dies in the desert. He doesn't get to the promised land, also because he didn't really believe God. It's also like a punishment for disbelief. And Yeshua, his servant, becomes the leader and that conquers the land. And he also sends two spies. Okay. But unlike Moses, he's like, he doesn't give them like, it's not really clear why he does this. In the desert, it's God that assigns this mission, and here it's not clear. He just sends two people, we don't know even their names, okay? Go see the land. And then, so they went out, so they set out, and they came to the house of a harlot named Rahab, and lodged there, okay? They fucking go to a whore, okay? This is also what's so cool about this Bible. Oh, it's not like a Christian story. It's not like a Puritan or, okay? And then I really recommend to read the story. And then what she does is when the king of Jericho comes and wants to take them, and she hides them, and she asks them, okay? And now, and why does she hide them? Here we see what she is saying. She said to the men, I know that the Lord has given the country to you, okay? Because dread of you has fallen upon us, and all the inhabitants of the land are quaking before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the sea of reeds for you when you left Egypt, and what you did to Sihon and Og, the two Amorite kings across the Jordan whom you doomed. When we heard about it, we lost heart, and no man had any more spirit left because of you. For the Lord your God is the only God in heaven above and on earth below. Now, since I have shown loyalty to you, swear to me by the Lord that you in turn will show loyalty to my family, provide me with a relative. Okay, she does it to save her family. Okay? She is a very, in our tradition, she's like a noble figure. She joins the Israelites. Our sages that have a lot of very creative interpretations even matched her with Yeshua. And there is like this interpretation that says that we have like a few prophets are from her, and she is like a very positive figure. Okay, this you cannot find in Christianity. Right? And what we see here is amazing because her monologue was supposed to be their monologue. They witnessed, okay, they witnessed in their own eyes the the how Lord dried up the waters of the sea. They were supposed, and many more miracles, yeah, they were supposed to know that this is an amazing declaration of faith in like our God, okay, that there that our God is the only God in heaven above and on earth below, yeah. They were, but they and but they didn't believe. They it was a horror. I'm not saying it like, but it's very deep. It's not just a woman. It's a woman with that uses her sexuality to make in an independent way. Okay, it's very different times than now. Okay, the connotation and the context of being a whore is different. It's more like if you think of a courtesan in the 18th century of France or Italy, it's like it's a strong, independent woman that uses her sexuality. Okay, and this figure, and she is not part of the Israelites. And this figure is like a mirror. She is a mirror for the um, miserable leadership of the Israelites. And it's like, and here you have something very unique in the Bible. The names of the men are not mentioned. They are just two spies. And her name is mentioned, okay? And when we have the assignment in the Torah, the names of all the leaders are mentioned. But here we see it's like a mirror of the story, okay? And this is the message that goes through all the Bible, that the men are the material part of humanity. And they're like their penis, okay? What they see, it's like masculinity versus femininity. They need to see things. Like the women the women, they believe God doesn't need to talk to the women and ask them to do ta-ta-ta or promise them things, because their belief is internal. The men are the weak parts, okay? And it goes back to Adam and Eve, okay? Adam is very passive. Yeah, he just lies down and do nothing. It's Eve that eats from the fruit of knowledge. And there is a connection between her sexuality and the pursuit for knowledge, okay? And actually, and so by this comparison, we see it very strongly. And it's like really, you couldn't make a more extreme contradiction. So we have this group of men, these cowards, that they believe the physicality, they don't believe the unseen, they don't believe the spiritual guidance. And we have the woman with the most sexual woman, that she she believes in in this God, and she is like the source of information because she is really connected to the real feelings of the people. And so yeah, inshallah, like we believe in Judaism. We also as like an opposition to Christianity, that the end of times is not going to be bad, but good, amazingly good. It's not going to be like no, it's going to be like the best, just the beginning of like living as human beings. And this is one of the clues or how it's going to be like, it's going to be with like feminine leaders. And I'm not saying women leaders, because since Thatcher and Golda Meir, we know that because it's inside. Yeah, God has created all of us, men, and like we are all humanity is feminine and masculine from the inside. It's men that divided humanity into according to it's the masculine again. It's the masculine approach to divide us into our physicality and not our traits. But now we know there is a research done by a professor from Tel Aviv University. It's just like, I'm sure this is not the only example, but she scanned about, I think, 4,000 brains of people, and she divided the traits into like masculine and feminine. And if you just look at a brain, you cannot know if it belongs to a man or a woman. Our physicality is mostly dichotomic, but inside everyone has his unique blend of masculine and feminine traits. So I'm not talking about women leaders, oh my God, because it's like today that when we have women leaders, they are mostly worse than men because they need to prove themselves and they need to have like very masculine traits to become leaders in the current politics. But I'm talking about feminine leadership, okay? And I believe that it can only happen when the whole structure will be different, because now be a leader of a country, or you need to be like a masculine narcissist. So it means that we will all be divided into tribes, and then we will have local leaders, and those local leaders will be really connected to the people, because we have amazing leaders living with us today, but they are local. They don't have this narcissist stage complex. And so inshallah, nationality will end soon, and we will have lots and lots and lots of tribes in an open and communicative world, and we will have feminine leaders, local feminine leaders. That's part of it. אז Shabbat Shalom, Gute Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much. תודה ליאורה.